Yo, Vegas lights shine bright, Badboyz sitting pretty. Michael, Steve, Rob running things in Sin City. Podcast blazing truth, rhyming hard and witty. Three kings on the mic, Vegas life gets gritty. Matt Michaels dropping bombs, quick wit, no filter. Sin City's own, blending gold with the silver. Steve taking notes, every word's a thriller. Rob's on the tracks, beats cold like a chiller. Badboyz a podcast, raw truth they broadcast. Speaking facts so fast, haters coming dead last. Las Vegas legends, three amigos top class. Mic in hand, setting fire, never outclassed. Poker chips clinking, bright lights blinking. Deep combos late night, none of that shrinking. Michael say it straight, Steve got the chutzpah. Rob smooth delivery, sharper than a jigsaw. Sin City's finest, knowledge that can find us. Pro wrestling, life lessons, wisdom redefine us. Las Vegas playground, tough crowd behind us. Culture shook hard, repping Badboyz alignment. Three voices in sync, truth bombs never blink.
Everybody, it is the biggest Badboyz of podcasting. I'm Michael Sherrill, Rob Botticelli, and Sid City Steve. And boys, we are back this week after a long week of professional wrestling. Basically, well, we had a little Saturday night's main event to kick off the big news of the week. It was something that I think they're getting really good at doing, is presenting a pay-per-view-esque feel to, live television with some big stuff going on. Gunther retains his title against Jey Uso in one hell of a great match. Rhea Ripley retained. Braun Strowman made Sheamus very sad and quiet. And Sheamus lost again. Can't get that IC title. We saw Jesse the Body back, of course, again. We had a showdown between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes, which ended up in HBK giving a little sweet chin music to Kevin Owens. And, of course, Jacob Fatu was made a fucking star this night by taking out Braun Strowman. And kudos to Braun Strowman for being able to be big enough of a monster to now have created a huge monster in Bronson Reed and now Jacob Fatu. This guy's value is purely his size, getting guys over even bigger. It's amazing.
He's like, he should get a belt like number one jobber.
Well, he already has that. He has the greatest Royal Rumble title belt still.
Yeah. With the little scimitars on it, means nothing. I was like, oh yeah, look at that. Best jobber ever.
Yeah, it's something that is definitely something that is definitely showing that the relationship with NBC is something that's really useful in terms of being able to build some of these feuds, ideas, matches into bigger things. That contract signing was just a great way to get people who are watching going, hey, maybe I will sign up for Peacock. Or more importantly, at this point, not really people our age, but Dad, I want to see that.
They do, when they experiment, if you even want to call it that, on Saturday Night Main Event, it's with big name players, whereas AEW will throw in a enhancement talent from some local bar just to get thrown in a squash match to put somebody over. I was a little annoyed about having Braun Strowman put Jacob Fatu over in this way, because they made Braun Strowman look kind of weak when he was doing that little meek job, and they're going, oh, here's the freight train, and he's like, and then the delayed reactions, and when he got thrown onto the table and it didn't fall, I was like, is he gonna roll off the damn table? I mean,
realistically though, Rob, you got to think, what is his value at this point?
No,
with that
well, and that's fair. And that's the thing. You're not going to give him a title run. You're not going to have him talk. They've given him every opportunity to talk. Jacob Fatu can out talk him. He's more athletic than him. He's more agile than him. The endless hip attacks. Well, most of those I freaking the day we live in now, instead of the VHS now, 30 years later, I'm watching this stuff and pausing in real time going, none of those hip attacks connected. He was off by like half a foot. And I was trying to be positive, but I'm like, none of these hip attacks are anywhere near the mark. But then his head exploded, and I was like, way later, I'm like, whoa, it was like 10 years later, his head exploded in blood. They really want to put Jacob Fatu over. Okay, fine. But he sold it late, but he sold it. Did Braun Strowman. So, all right.
Yeah, well, obviously, I was just going to say, I think that the biggest winner from all of Saturday night's main event was Jacob Fatu.
Sure.
Being somebody that hasn't religiously followed the product, he came across as being the biggest winner overall. His stock went up exponentially because obviously, keep in mind, you're giving not just putting him over to your traditional audience. Matt, you hit the nail right on the head. It's an NBC audience. They're back on broadcast TV. So the possibilities are limitless. So good on them.
There was one part of that segment that did bring it together and got it. I don't want to say it was off the rails, but got it completely on the rails and sold me on it. Was when Tama Tonga was like, yo, dude, this is too much. Like, he had to hold him back. That was good. They needed to do something like that, where another member of the bloodline, or whatever you want to call them now, was like, you are too much for me now. Your violence is too much for me. It's like, all right, good. That was good.
And you have to figure the cool thing they started doing with him is having him walk backstage talking trash to the fucking camera. Something that they weren't typically doing before. And when he started doing it with Jay, talking stuff, and the announcers now on Raw, having, walking to the table and stuff. They're doing things that are different, that add personality to the actual character. Especially because with Solo losing, you lost your mouthpiece.
Right.
So now, obviously,
Fatu is better on the mic than him.
Well, he's different. That's the whole thing. He's different. And that's the difference of the characters in terms of, there's not better. It's just that Jacob is a different energy than Solo is. Solo was the street thug who is now the Godfather, right? He literally is the Godfather. Jacob is the rabid fucking beast who got bit by a fucking, loose dog who now has rabies and fucking spits as he's looking at the camera.
I need that level of energy. There's too many Solo Sikoas that they're doing their best Triple H impersonation of the dry delivery. I'm tired of that. I want a villain to be off the chain, absolutely uncontrollable. And that's the energy I get off of him. I don't care if they ever give him a belt. He deserves one, but he's one of those guys. I don't care what he does as long as he's beating the crap out of people. I would like to eventually see some sort of cohesive bloodline with all of them, 7 or 8 guys running around both, locker rooms, beating the shit out of everyone. And he makes me so happy to watch. I need somebody who can reach his level. I need him to take down the most babyface and go through a nice long feud. Personally, that's what I'd like to see him do.
Oh, it's going to be happening. That's what you're seeing starting.
Yep.
And John said, like in SmackDown and Saturday night's main event, Jacob Fatu spitting rhymes coming out to the ring showed how real he is, and the crowd cheering for him for another moonsault on Braun Strowman proved how he's the next star according to WWE Universe. And that's exactly what I mean. They made a star. Them chanting like that for him was insane, because you literally are, you're taking, once again, the situation of, here's a heel, and unless unless you raise it up to your top baby faces, right? Cody Rhodes. If he takes out a Cody Rhodes, now you have a huge fucking feud eventually. You know what I'm saying? So you can build those steps. And the best thing about this is that this is exactly what they wanted Umaga to be. But Umaga was stuck in the tribal skirt, and he was this from the jungle or whatever the hell it was, right? They finally were able to use this regular persona and have that typical Samoan badass crazy motherfucker that almost everyone has met in their life once. And it's amazing because here's a guy who, again, the reputation preceded him, and it took a while for him to get to this point. But if he would have gotten there sooner, he would not have had the same impact. And it proves
this is what Triple H always said he wanted. He always says, after the whole incident with the Click, that what made the Attitude Era good was they started blurring the lines and they started peeling back away from kayfabe and making things really ambiguous as to what was going on. What's a work? What's real? What's a shoot? What's not? This is not so much of a shoot type thing, but you're describing it. He doesn't look like a hokey Hawaiian guy or Samoan guy. Right. He looks like just a violent guy, and I love his entrance. It incorporates a bit of that, but it is just so freaking raw. He's one of the best guys they have out right now. He's really what I'm certain they wanted Solo to be, but Solo is just too damn boring. To me, he's just too boring.
And again, it's a different perspective.
I get the Godfather type thing, but
and you have to layer too, right? You have to layer. If Jacob would have just came out doing that, it would not have worked. Yeah, it kills the story. Andre puts in here, instead of forcing a Cena Rumble win, doesn't a Jacob versus Cena WrestleMania kill multiple birds with one stone? Credible opponent for Cena's final WrestleMania match and give Jacob a main event level spot to build towards in the future. So here's the thing. I've been seeing a lot of this online. Cena's winning the Rumble. Cena's winning the Rumble. Cena's winning the Rumble. I haven't seen one credible source saying Cena's winning the Rumble. The problem is that if Cena wins the Rumble, where does he go, right? Everyone keeps saying he wins a belt. But what title? So he wrestles Cody? It doesn't make sense. Does he wrestle Gunther?
Maybe.
If he wrestles Gunther,
that makes more sense.
Right. So that's I don't know about that theory. However, Cena versus Jacob SummerSlam down the line a little bit, Cena will put him over and make him look good. In fact, personally, Jacob Fatu retires John Cena. Not only is it John's last match, but John is like fucked. Like he's leaving on a stretcher and in critical care. You know what I'm saying? So there's many ways they can, go with that, which is phenomenal. Another shout out for bringing up the celebrity legends, to have Arn and Tully and Dory Funk Jr. and Mark Henry, Ted DiBiase, Alundra Blaze, Hacksaw. Just one hell of a rollout of the legends.
Tully Blanchard's everywhere lately.
Yeah, exactly. And well, a lot of it had to do too because they were in San Antonio, and so was TNA, and so that's one of the reasons that we've seen a lot of Tully this week. It's
all blurring to me because they all do that same cutaway to that stupid canal, and then I can't remember what show I'm watching. I'm like, is this a repeat? Wait a minute. Did I click the wrong thing? I just saw this like a day ago.
Gotta love that stock footage, man.
Yeah,
that Riverwalk, man. That Riverwalk. It's popular. Okay, so John Cena was brought up. WrestleMania win. Well, let's bring it out. Joe Hendry says he wants to defend the TNA World Title against John Cena. Any chance in hell of that happening?
Probably not. I think Cena's not going to go against an indie guy. The dirt sheets type stuff on him for years is that he's kind of stuck up about who he wrestles. I can't see him putting this guy over. Just not in any way.
I don't think that he'll defend the title against him, but it wouldn't surprise me to see them lock up at the Rumble.
Sure.
And that could obviously, given how the crowd reacts to that, I mean, there might be something, but wow, that would be quite considerable to say the least. And by the way, I do have I'm totally derailing, going back and just throwing out one sentence from the previous thing. It is a very, very nice breath of fresh air to see how WWE is treating their legends now. Because previously they brought out legends to be mocked and ridiculed and laughed at. And now they're treating them like the legends that they are. And this is exactly how it should have been from the beginning. That type of shit wins viewers back over, me included.
The last time they showed Mark Henry and WWE, he had the broken leg and he was hobbling around, and the gimmick was that Randy Orton was just making fun of him for being the strongest guy, now being a gimp. And I'm like, anyone could break their leg. This is just really kind of a shoddy way to pay respect to this guy. So yeah, I'm on board too. They're doing all of the right things. My question to you guys is that because of Triple H and no more Vince McMahon? I mean,
I think that there's a genuine culture shift from the top down. Obviously, the TKO ownership has fueled everything. TKO is trading at an all-time high for its stock right now, and is up considerably from when they were founded. And there's no signs of it stopping. So that's huge for TKO, huge for WWE. They are making the right steps, and it's starting to show even more, penetrating that casual fan market.
Well, awesome. And let's talk about the big, rumor of, does WWE intend to buy TNA? It is reportedly believed by close to the situation that WWE will end up owning TNA while blocking AEW from international TV deals. There's a lot of stuff that's going on that's going to be part of this deal, but the key stuff is they want to get TNA on those television outlets that WWE is leaving. I'm sure India being the big one, so AEW doesn't get those television outlets that they're leaving. Because of all their shows are on Netflix internationally, they can't put anything on those stations, so they want to make sure it's not AEW on those stations. So that's one of the many reasons that they're doing this TNA partnership. I know people who are close to the situation think we'll end up with WWE owning TNA. Others think it's going to be a disaster, because it's always is, at the end, every company WWE works with ends up worse off. WOR is the one reporting that. And to go further on that, the genius insight of Vince Russo, who has claimed that Vince McMahon is the reason why Triple H has suddenly agreed for a partnership between WWE and TNA. Writing with Russo, the former WWE writer, said there's 23 years that they've been in existence. 23 years. Now, in that 23 years, there's never been a partnership with WWE until now. Now, you and I have spoken about the Vince McMahon case with Janelle Grant. He is trying to bring that to a moderator to get that settled. We also know, we have heard Vince starting his own company, already hiring people, etc. Do you think Endeavor could have had some insight to perhaps Vince is closer to starting a company than we all think, and maybe there was a concern from Endeavor of him purchasing and buying TNA? And this person says Russo has a valid point here. What do we think? Is it bullshit?
What is he going to do?
It wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. Let's be real about this for a minute here. If you can see the writing on the wall and the way that things have been going, this is just the next step. It would not surprise me whatsoever. They've already branded NXT not as a developmental brand, but as a separate touring brand. So at this point, why wouldn't they pick up TNA and turn it into essentially NXT 3.0 and have TNA be the fodder and the developmental territory for the WWE brands?
So here's something that I don't know if this is if this is more realistic. When we say WWE owning TNA, that's one thing, but
you asked about Vince.
Well, wait, what about Endeavor? Why can't Endeavor buy him? Right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Have it be a part of TKO.
Right. But separately run, not by the WWE. So TNA is still its own entity. For instance, Disney owns Star
So
Wars.
are you saying
in
like that they would own a considerable share of the company then? Essentially keeping the name and everything in place, just Endeavor buying
That
into
to me seems like semantics, really, because at the end of the day, it all leads back to WWE.
Well, no,
There's
wait. What I'm saying
no, I
is
know what
that
you mean. Something
creative's
separately
not in
owned.
charge, and everyone who's in place in TNA is still in place in TNA. It's just
Yeah.
that the owning partnership is now not Access.
Two questions. Well, number one, that's is Anthem still a part of that, or is Axis and Anthem kind of like interchangeable when we discuss that?
Anthem is Access.
Okay, all right, fine.
They own them.
All right.
It's one
So
company.
Anthem has been around with TNA now for God, it seems like what, 8 years or so. I can't imagine. Were they indicating at any point, or is there any grumbling that they would be willing to sell?
Well, that's the thing. The thing is that if the business money makes sense,
Sure, and yeah,
they'll sell. But again, the whole idea would have to be, how does it happen? Now, this ties into the Vince thing. I don't think there's a bloody chance in hell that Vince McMahon is buying TNA at any fucking point, let alone starting his own fucking company. Again, I think that
he
the
got his
wild
marching
birds,
orders.
yeah, the wild birds who are feeding this shit, really just need shit to talk about, to get out, to get people to click on their website. The idea that he has people in place and is hiring people and has bought property and et cetera, et cetera. Okay. And,
This is the only thing I can see in regards to Vince McMahon at any point at any promotion is they do some sort of Vince McMahon challenge or tournament or honorable mention type scenario. Maybe a Vince McMahon Cup, something silly like that. When the dust clears and everything settles down, and they're going to have to eventually reincorporate his name into the product. That's how you do it. But that's as far as I ever see anything regarding him going. Or they wait until he dies. I don't see him buying anything, however. He might come out and bring back the Vince McMahon character here and there as a nostalgia thing, but that's as far as I could ever see it happening.
Steve, what do you think?
If they bring back Vince McMahon into this product whatsoever, then that's a huge mistake. Honestly, at this point, his reputation is completely damaged. Not somewhat damaged, but completely damaged. And it's obvious that, if you did have a Vince McMahon Cup, I mean, what would you do? Give away a fucking trophy with 2 fucking golden grapefruits on it? No, I'm good.
No, it'd have a big turd in the middle. It would have a big. I haven't done Vince McMahon's voice in a while. Here, do Vince McMahon, Matt.
Oh boy, I can't wait to see the big old grapefruits on that trophy. Oh boy, they're going to be as big as Andre's, not bigger than Andre's. Oh, they're going to be to the size of 2 of Sable's titties.
Not bad. Not bad.
There's a meme.
I could not have done a better job myself.
We're speaking about relationships with TNA, and TNA had their first live show for Impact in 8 years. They rolled it out, man. First off, Joe Hendry defended the title against Matt fucking Cardona in a great match that, of course, Bradshaw showed up and laid Cardona out, so Hendry got a win.
You mean Mid Cardona?
Well, hey, Mid Cardona makes more money than Mid Carters together. So,
oh, shit.
Fraxium had a hell of a match with the Rascals to retain the NXT titles. The Hardys defended the tag championships, TNA tag champ belts against Moose and Brian Myers, which was a really good match as well. Cora Jade showed up and gave Masa Slamovich a picture of herself sitting at NXT ringside, and it cost the Masha and the women tag champs the match with the distraction. Mustafa Ali is officially signed with TNA, so he is back and cut off Mike Santana in the ring, which would be a nice little matchup. And Tessa Blanchard cut one fucking hell of a promo that was such a great heel take on her hometown of San Antonio. It was fucking sweet. This was one hell of a 2-hour show. And man, if they keep putting on live shows like this, it does raise the question of just being on Access. Can you get more distribution? And of course, that's what they're trying to do by the deal they have in place with Endeavor and streaming. So it's crazy. Did you guys catch any of it or no?
I saw the whole thing, and I want to say first off, because I always say I'm always about the peripheral things. The rooms they're getting are bigger, and they're filling them out. And it's funny because AEW's rooms are getting smaller to match their crowd size, and TNA's are matching them now in the other direction. It's like one's going up, one's going down.
It's almost like the business is cyclical.
Yeah.
Yeah, go figure.
Yep. I really wish that TNA had that kind of Tony Khan money behind them. Maybe they do to a degree. But they need to, stay focused so they don't just fizzle out. I mean, and yeah, they've been around 23 years. They haven't fizzled out, but they've had very, very big valleys, during the Pursuit TV, the Pursuit Network years, where it was like, oh my God, it was a shot on a camcorder. These were great shows. Every one of these shows and all the production value, the storylines are great. The heels are believable. Frankie Kazarian comes out with his trophy with this double scarves and wonderful. And I normally don't like when people do commentary, when wrestlers do commentary. He gets on and he shoots it really well on the mic. Doing the commentary, everything is good. Nick Nemeth and Ryan Nemeth, that dynamic is great.
Which it looks like eventually we're going to see the brothers feud, which we've never really seen, which is another fresh take. Which
we don't see much from Ryan Nemeth at all. We didn't see much from him in AEW. We don't know much about him in TNA. I was never under any thoughts that the Rascals were going to win WWE Gold. I never thought that for a second, but they did put on a match, and it was a good match, and all the moves were well executed. But Fraxium was on another level. The backflips he was doing, the gymnastics in there were freaking stupid. Fraxium was wrestling at a 10. The Rascals are wrestling at a 9.99999. The pop for Mustafa Ali. Oh my God. That is the best version of him we've ever seen. Tessa Blanchard coming out and reestablishing herself. The only fear I have with Tessa Blanchard is I got a Deonna Purrazzo vibe off of her, which is a double-edged sword. I got the vibe that she does have control. She has mic control. She's not just being indiscriminately booed at. But the way they brought her out was, in a sense, and were showing her father, was almost like reestablishing her from scratch. They kind of were like, yeah, she was the champion, men's champion. Anyways, just next, we're doing a reboot of her. This is a reboot for her. Sure. And I'm fine with that. You can't have her. You're not going to go jump back in there and say she took on the dudes. You can bring that up later on if she connects with the crowd again in any sort of way. But I'm fine with them rebooting her, like your internet connection. It was a smart way to do it. She was getting drowned out by the audience a bit, but she was in control. Some of these people, they try to cut a promo, they can't cut a promo, and they get drowned out. she cut a good promo and she established herself. But we kind of saw that in AEW with Deonna Purrazzo when they introduced her in New Jersey. And then once she left New Jersey, it was like, and that was 50-50 there, the way they promoted her and also her, you know, her own mic skills. I'm leery with that one. I'm leery with Tessa Blanchard. I am really leery with her because she does not have stamina with crowds. And I used to see her matches at Sam's Town, and she was awkward with the audience afterwards. She's not incredibly charismatic all the time, and she does burn out. But I'm hoping I'm hoping I'm wrong.
Steve, did AEW miss the Tessa Blanchard train? Would Tessa have maybe been a little bump in AEW?
So I wouldn't have been opposed to Tessa joining AEW. But obviously there are forces at play that did not want her involved with the promotion. So, you know, that's the only way to describe it. Obviously, you know, if you look at it, there's realistically, outside of the things that she did outside of the ring, there's nothing that would dissuade her from being, you know, in AEW or helping any major promotion on the planet. So unfortunately that, you know, that derailed what could have been a solid career. Obviously she would have had a completely different trajectory had she not said the things that she did. So it just
when Hulk Hogan does his own private promotion, she'll be the champ.
Right. Yeah. It goes to show you though that as far as the ability, that's never been a question. So that's, she will help out any promotion where she is. And obviously you would think crowds will fade in time to the certain things, but obviously she's doing herself no favors by, you know, not distancing herself or, you know, making any kind of statements.
All right. So AEW Collision is coming Saturday, March 15th to Las Vegas. And that brings up the question of them not doing Double or Nothing here in Las Vegas this year. And we also learned that Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor, it was pulled by TK from WrestleMania weekend in Vegas. Las Vegas source informed WrestleZone that ROH Supercard of Honor 2025 originally scheduled to take place in Las Vegas during WrestleMania 41 weekend. It additionally had a venue worked out. However, the plans are now off, and new plans for the event are up in the air. It was relayed that AEW had been working with a venue near Fremont in downtown Las Vegas that had been picked for the ROH event. Despite this, AEW recently nixed plans to use that facility. The reason for AEW changing course was not communicated. It was stressed that Supercard of Honor could still happen somewhere else and on a different date. However, as of now, the event won't happen in downtown Las Vegas in April. With that being said, Double or Nothing going away, Supercard of Honor going away, but Collision.
Do we know for a certain about Double or Nothing?
No, it's all a rumor at this point. So realistically, the fact is them running a date this close to the Memorial Day weekend, all but puts the kibosh on them doing Double or Nothing, which is not surprising at all, because if you've looked at the attendance in Las Vegas over the last 3 years specifically for Double or Nothing, it has fallen off of a cliff. And you say what you will about, you know, things elsewhere, them not being able to draw in other cities and, you know, across the board. The fact is, I went to a Collision that they had at the Dollar Loan Center, and they had maybe 1,000 people there, maybe. Yeah. And unfortunately, they burned out this territory. They burned out Las Vegas.
I went to the Double or Nothing, and the hard camera side was completely empty.
Oh, yeah.
And we were like, do we just walk down there? Are they going to, like, literally ringside was vacant. Ringside was vacant. Yeah. And we were like, do we just go down there? Is somebody going to stop us? Like, and it was Ron Funches and crew was there, and they were it was just a sea of empty seats, and then my friend Brian Shenanigans and Ron Funches and his crew in a sea of just empty chairs, and we were like, how
Hey,
is this?
everybody, this is my friend Ron Shenanigans and Ron Funches. Hey, man, yeah, we're not stand-ups. No, not at all.
And that was the thing. It was like, all right, so you're talking about what is that place seating? 19,000. You were probably missing about 5,000 to 7,000 people to top it off. And it wasn't that the matches weren't good. They did a stadium stampede that year, if I'm not mistaken, and it was good. It was the Jericho Appreciation Society, that one, where they did this, and they were all in white. It was there was nothing wrong with the matches, and they did Wild Things for like fucking 9 hours. They played Wild Things.
Yeah.
You know, it was fun, but you can't fill it. It looks terrible, you know.
Correct.
Okay, so go ahead, Steve.
Not good. I was just gonna say it's not good. Obviously, the Super Card of Honor thing, just to kind of talk about that for a moment. We'll see what happens with that show, but obviously it's been a tradition for the entire time that ROH has been a thing. They do a Mania show in the Mania City every year. So if it's the end of January. If we don't hear anything about them being in a different venue elsewhere in the city, I mean, for the love of God, run Sam's Town, run something. Like, you don't have to be downtown. I don't know, man. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Vegas is such a big wrestling town. There's no reason why you cannot fill. Go to the Orleans. You know what? Fucking the Orleans is so underutilized.
I agree.
That's
completely.
when I knew, like TNA. Go to the Orleans, they'd fill up 10,000 seats. Cool. Rampage Jackson, Hulk Hogan back 15 years ago, and they did it.
But one thing you got to keep in mind too is the prices for venues for this WrestleMania weekend is out of fucking control. So the thing is do you bring in your production crew and you're trying to sell this as a pay-per-view and you're doing all this, what is your actual bottom loss on it? And that's what I think it comes down to. I also got a feeling that there might be a little bit of hesitation because if TNA pulls something out of the hat because NXT's here, are you going to run against that? Which might be a little bit of like, you know what? We're just going to do our thing, and then we can do the Ring of Honor supercards, at another time. And is it really a supercard? Is it a Supercard of Honor right now? That's the other thing. Because initially when they were running those shows, like the one at Madison Square Garden was fucking amazing, right?
That was a great show. Yeah.
So, which was one of the inspirations or at least, down the road for AEW.
Correct.
Because I can fill Madison Square Garden and it doesn't have anything WWE written on it.
Yeah.
It would be like if fucking Hammer beat Tony Stark and made a better Iron Man suit for 1 week.
Well, speaking about beating people, the Hurt Syndicate is the new AEW World Tag Team Champions. Do they really need the champions, belts at this point? And is it a downgrade for Lashley to be in and part of the heavyweight championship tag team? I'm kind of baffled and I'm kind of surprised.
Let me answer this one as MVP. My man Lashley just went through everybody, and all of you flat scans out there just saw who the most dominant tag team is ever, and he wasn't even ever a tag team champion. Shelton Benjamin, 90-time tag team champion, and we just proved to you why we are the best ever, because we hurt people. That's the first time I ever did MVP.
Well done.
Yeah, all right.
I know him too, by the way. Here's the thing, wrestling still uses the Ric Flair method of calling these matches. Do you know what that is? Ric Flair would wear red or blue or purple when he was going to win his match. If he came out in red ring attire, he was losing. When they came out in that red and black ring attire, I went, they lost. They came out In Red and Black, they got their ass. It happens all the time. Go watch any MJF match. When he crushes, he comes out in white ring attire. When he gets his ass handed to him, they send him out in red or something. They still do that in wrestling to this day. A lot of times, more times than not.
My only question, Rob, is it took you looking at the attire to realize that Private Party were going to lose the titles that night?
but of course, but as soon as I saw
I'm just saying, bro.
No, because you know what I was thinking was going to happen? This is what I was thinking was going to happen. I either thought there was going to be some sort of weird run-in, maybe a fuckery, maybe they drag it out for a PL, the pay-per-view thing. Maybe something would happen where they make it out alive and then they get their asses kicked in a bigger venue. But as soon as they came out in the red and black, going, oh God, they're not going to lose. They're going to be just completely smeared on the mat. And they were. They were smeared on the mat.
They absolutely were. And you know what? I'm giving you guys both time because I just from the way that this image is, the text is on the image. I know your thoughts, Matt. So please feel free to spout what you need to say, but then I'll throw out my points afterwards.
Well, no, I really just, at this point, again, from someone who is looking at it from the perspective of you have all these tag teams that you've just shuffled around for years and years and years. You've given no coherency to the tag team division. I think that in the end, it's the egos of the Bucks who want to go over Lashley and Benjamin for the titles. That's my words. That happens at some point.
Yes.
What else do you do? But the big thing is again, what about the Outrunners? Your hottest fucking tag team. I know we're probably going to see FTR versus Lashley and fucking Benjamin or whatever. I don't know. I'm just kind of I get it. And listen, they bring sports.
Would you rather see Leo Rush in a turtle shell?
Listen,
Andretti?
I would love to see Leo Rush in an actual turtle shell. If anyone can make that happen, a turtle shell on a pole match, or if he loses the match, he has to put on a turtle outfit. That'd be great. I'm cool with that. All right, Steve.
All right. So buckle up. This is definitely not a downgrade for Lashley, and here's why. My view on it is this: if you bring in Bobby Lashley, he's going to be put into a title picture. It just goes without saying, right? So why not put he and Shelton in a team? And if nothing else, you just said it. The tag team division is honestly, it's one of the weak points of the show. And it has been for quite some time. Okay. Right. So they really don't have a division. What they need are extremely strong champions, and they should essentially book the Hurt Syndicate almost like Road Warriors 2.0. Okay. They should have these guys seriously run roughshod over the entire fucking division, because if nothing else, it will allow you to build up a team like the Outrunners in time. I'm not saying within the next 3 months even. I want them to hold the titles up through All In Texas. If you want them to lose them there, I guess, but whatever. I think that they need to go on a run with the championships, and they need to restore order to the tag team scene in AEW. Okay. The other thing that I gotta say with it too, you got Shelton Benjamin, who has found the fountain of youth. The guy is wrestling better than he ever had. Well, some are saying better than he ever has. Okay. In whatever the situation is, you got Bobby Lashley. Both of those guys deserve to be in title contention. So why not put them in essentially using one spot on the card, as opposed to having Bobby feud for the world championship and then having Shelton feud for a secondary championship? Because that is one way of consolidating the name branding of them, putting them there and building more value into a very, very diminished asset.
All right. That's fair enough. Speaking about diminishing assets, a couple of people this week It's come out that Ricky Starks has allegedly asked for his AEW release. Ricky Starks has reportedly asked for his release from AEW, but Tony Khan won't give it to him. At the end of the day, things happen to where he's on outs with AEW right now. It is what it is. There's a lot of things. Most of it will never be reported, but ultimately there's a falling out there, and it is what it is. He asked for his release. Tony won't give it to him, and he's just going to wait the rest of his deal. He's going to stay relevant by working indie dates, and good for him. I'm happy for him. That's just going to be the situation in the meantime. That's the sources, the wrestling purists. At the same time, looks like the honeymoon is over between Britt and AEW. Really quick here. That incident with her and MJF told that factors into her being off television, but there are other issues with her that have come up. She has become increasingly difficult to work with general work with in a general sense. She has also had a reputation of being difficult to work with. There's a specific situation recently not continuing the MJF situation. It was enough to sort of be the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of just feeling like, you know what, we've got a strong women's division now compared to when she was on top. We don't need to deal with her if she's going to be this difficult to work with. So that's where they are with her. And the other question becomes, if it's true that Malachi Black was resistant to doing business, so will that make him a problem in WWE? So apparently there's a lot of people who are not happy or difficult to work with, or are gone and difficult to work with and might be going somewhere else that might be difficult to work with. What the fuck's going on? Anyone?
The more things change, the more they stay the same. How long have we heard about this shit from at least half of those names that you mentioned? Realistically, we've heard about this shit from Malachi Black for the last 3 years. They did officially rebrand Julia, Buddy, and Brody as the Hounds of Hell. They have a new Tron, and everything looks good. So that's the branding that they're going with. Good for them. I wish them nothing but the best. Completely separate themselves from the House of Black. They didn't use the same entrance as they did when they were with the House of Black, so completely different identity. What?
She has the same House of Black-ish entrance theme. The house always wins. They'll tweak it.
I'm not gonna lie, that is one of the best entrance themes that AEW has. So if they scrap it, then that's gonna suck. Yeah, I think that is
change one word and say the Hounds always win.
Something.
If you even need to.
Yeah, but yeah, as far as Ricky Starks, okay, that guy hasn't worked a date in AEW in over a year at this point, possibly coming up on 2 years. And for Britt Baker, it was at this point, it's almost like as if she got some advice from Phil Brooks on how to be gone from AEW, because that's the only way that this shit is happening. Obviously, the shit backstage with MJF, making the comment about nobody cares about Serena Deeb with her health issues. That obviously pissed off a lot of people as well. And yeah, it's just one thing after another. Yeah, she's just trying to get fired at this point. So
here's
whatever.
my question.
Best to all of them.
Here's my question in regards to Ricky Starks. We can point to a million times that Britt Baker had good runs and good title runs, and she cuts good promos. What was the best work we ever got out of Ricky Starks? Was it his tag teaming with Big Bill? Was it teaming up and being part of Taz's crew? So I never got that knock out of the park, experience with him.
Because Ricky also suffered the same thing that all the guys who were not established guys were suffering from, and that is start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. Momentum stops. And when you stop momentum and you have nothing for someone to do, then you get lost in the shuffle. I'm going to be talking about that a little bit later on myself. So,
sounds like Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss and that guy who's working at an Aldi right now.
But even at a bigger level, because Ricky Starks has more potential than you could do with Sonny Kiss or that Joey Janela was going to have, right? Juice Robinson right now. Where the fuck's Juice Robinson? right?
I thought he's injured.
Yeah.
Even so, why is he not present? That's the problem.
He could be cutting promos. He's good at that.
So
Exactly.
And the same thing. And where are the Gun brothers? Are they in purgatory?
That's a great fucking question, especially with what is rumored to be the championship match at Grand Slam. Yeah, which is 3 weeks away, and we have no idea what the world title match is going to be. And yeah, the rumored opponent for Moxley is going to be Jay White. You would think that they would have Bullet Club Gold or the Bang Bang Gang or whatever the fuck that they're choosing to call themselves now.
By the way,
out there to back him up.
Any one of those people who are Bullet Club, they'll all tell you they're still Bullet Club, even though none of them use the name Bullet Club. Oh yeah, I'm Bullet Club. I'm like, oh, okay.
Because it's for life.
Yeah.
Well, some things are always going to be for life. But we're talking about all those people leaving. And then WWE, we got the promo. Charlotte is back. She will be in the Rumble. We also got a hint that Nikki Bella is looking at possibly returning soon.
Excuse me, I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Hold on a second.
Are you gonna give yourself a brie?
Yeah, hold on a second. I gotta see. I'm ready already. This is always ready.
How does that not surprise me?
Just get those tissues right out.
Wet wipes too. We've got it's green screen. Damn it.
Yeah. But again, it's we're seeing Charlotte coming back. And again, just seeing people's reactions online, it's just so fun. Oh, well, why do they always fucking give away that this one's coming back? And it's
so you watch it.
Exactly, right? Because it's the same effect of why does AEW always just have them show up at a pay-per-view that no one's watching, and then it loses its steam.
All right, wait a minute. Is the Boogeyman's going to show up? Oh no, I don't want to see that. Yes, you do.
Well,
and who I want to see, but he's dead. Pete Rose. I want to see Kane choke slam Pete Rose one more time, please.
Dude. If it was old Vince, there'd be a corpse getting choked.
I want him to choke slam Pete Rose.
He's Tombstone. God damn it! Come on, pal. There you go, John.
Can you do a pencil?
And here, this is great here too. The Charlotte Vignettes lead you to believe that she's returning from injury to win the Rumble, and we've seen with Triple H and Cody Rhodes all the side points versus her and Tiffany at WrestleMania. Could be true, but I think that you also, with that big announcement, you also have the potential of a surprise in, I don't know, Becky Lynch, right? What if two of your biggest fucking stars in women's wrestling come back at the same Rumble? What happens?
That's good. That's good storytelling. Good storytelling. And Jamie asked about it earlier, and you know who I'm going to bring up because she might be well enough by then. Maybe you have Jade Cargill come in at a hand-selected time and tied into some long-term storytelling. Right after Ray and Naomi or right after Bianca Belair, and then start beating the crap out of one of them. Please.
Listen, let's be fair. If Jade is medically cleared, okay,
sure,
that's a big thing. Let's
of course. Because, you don't want to throw somebody out there who's
And going back, I heard things at that time that it was realistic that it was kind of a serious injury. So we'll see what happens with that. But it is fun, and it is fun to have these little things being dropped. One of the big things, I'm about to master the dark arts of Lucha Libre. Aleister Black and Zelina Vega own the Dark Arts Gym and Pro Wrestling School.
Yep.
Wow. Chad Gable turning to Dom for some advice. Does it look like Chad is about to become a luchador?
Please have him walk out with a jockstrap for a mask. How good would that be? A red, white, and blue jockstrap? That would be the best.
I definitely can appreciate them using Chad Gable as the conduit to reintroduce characters. Because if you'll notice, that has been the common thread.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and because he does masterful with it. Like, he gets them over. which is a true testament to just how good Chad Gable really is.
And The Miz. The Miz does that well too.
Yes. And The Miz, by the way, The Miz actually found out he is now on SmackDown, and so is the Wyatt family, and so he needs friends. And boy, he got Waller and Grayson. They're going to make Marine 7, and then they found out they're going to Raw. I mean, it's just some beautiful stuff. Andrade, he tells Andrade, hey man, we can make a great team. We can, this is going to be big. You need someone like me to bet. And Andrade's like, you're right. Let me go find someone. He just totally blew him off. So The Miz is, again, just spinning gold with nothing, just backstage vignettes. It's fucking great to see.
Do you ever give him a title run in any capacity?
You don't need to. At this point, I don't see The Miz really ever needing belt again. He already has Maurice, dude. That's the biggest title that you could have.
Yeah, the guy has won at life.
I don't know, man. Charlotte Flair right now, she's looking Jade Cargill hot lately.
Well, I mean, again, Andrade, he's got his posse.
Do you ever bring that up, by the way, that they're married? Did they ever say that offhanded, or have they in the past? I mean, they do it with Seth Rollins once in a while, and vice versa with Becky Lynch. Do they ever mention those two in any capacity?
No, but eventually it will happen when they need to do some kind of shoot thing.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
there was a reason why, Ric Flair's last match, that was his tag partner.
Well, and also there's a good chance that Flair is doing some stuff with them now for the new show they're going to be doing on AEW or A&E with the Legends, the Future Legends and whatever the hell this show is going to be called, which is kind of like an NXT Tough Enough type of thing. So looks like Flair is supposed to be filming some stuff with them, had recently or will be. So we might see Flair coming back in the mix, which could lead the door open to something like that. So we'll see. But for now, there we go. Okay, Steve.
He's right there.
Oh, he is. Yeah, there he is.
Oh, yeah.
Steve, what is your AEW over/under pick of the week?
Well, you try to get ready for this show. You try to, get everything in line, develop our segments, talking points, have a rough idea of what we're going to go over. And I shit you not, I had it all planned out. I was going to say it's over under 2 weeks, and you will see Timeless Tony Storm on an AEW TV show one more time. And then we fast forward to last night as we're recording this, to Saturday, January the 25th, an episode of Collision. There's supposed to be a face-to-face for the first time ever with Tony Storm going face-to-face with Mariah May. And obviously, Mariah lays out Tony, and then the shtick is up, and then
it was a wall break. Wall break.
We find out that it's the performance of a lifetime, and that Timeless Tony Storm is back. Motherfucker, why did you do that shit on that show 3 weeks before Grand Slam?
I liked it.
Granted, yes, it was cool that it happened, but everybody knew that it was going to happen. But the problem is that, damn it, save that shit for the go home right before, like the week before.
That would have been smarter.
Do that at that time. Don't blow your load too early. Legitimately.
John and Steve, you see John's point there too. On the same night as Saturday night's main event.
Exactly. When you know that you're going to have diminished viewership anyway. Now, mind you, I don't think anybody realizes or anybody is giving Mariah May a shot to even walk out of Australia with the championship. Everybody knows that Tony Storm has taken the title back. But yeah, I was all set, ready to go, ready to say that we would have 2 weeks, and then guaranteed we would end up seeing Timeless Tony Storm. It happened last night on Collision in front of 2,000 people live and 200,000 on TV. Whatever. But I do have to toot my own horn, because right here on this very show last week, I said that the over-under for the Hurt Syndicate versus Private Party tag match would be 10 minutes. And sure as shit, it was 9 minutes and 30 seconds.
There you go.
So there you go.
People, this is our time to tell you to get on DraftKings right now. This guy has your golden ticket.
That's right. Use code VBB, bitches.
VBBPP.
That's right. So for this week upcoming, we have the stellar match, the amazing match that everybody wants to see. Of course, I'm talking about Jeff Jarrett versus Claudio Castagnoli. And we've also got evidently your main event for Dynamite is going to be Mercedes Moné I'm already saying defeating, because we all know that's going to happen. Defeating Yuka Sakazaki, who won a 4-way match on Collision to become the #1 contender. Now, the thing that kills me...
Steve, really quick. One of the worst pins in the history of wrestling in that match.
God. Oh, God. Brutal. Brutal. But what the fuck? I know that we're not doing that segment anymore, but the whole thing surrounding this upcoming show is a giant what the fuck. Of all people, to have Yuka, and no offense to her, she is a good wrestler.
Deanna Pratt going further down the shitter.
But the fact is, she has not wrestled a match in AEW since September. Yeah. Before that #1 contenders match. So
they introduced her by saying how many times she got bones broken, teeth knocked out, ribs broken.
Yeah. So honestly, my over-under is after Mercedes wins that match, we won't see Yuka Sakazaki on AEW TV for another 2 months. So
there you go. That's a good bet. All right, that was Steve's over-under. Now for a presidential pontification.
I'm so glad that you called me. You're a very smart person to have called me, and you're part of the MAGA movement, making America great again. And the presidential, first of all, we're going to have a presidential pardon for Tony Khan. He was a huge campaign contributor, and he's done such a shitty job lately with his booking. We haven't seen AEW title gold around Jon Moxley's waist for millions and millions and billions, quite honestly, billions of months. No title gold. They have it in a Samsonite briefcase, and they've got this woman. She's got no tits. She's got a training bra on. Marina Shafir, okay? She sounds like she's a shitty Greek porn star, okay? Marina Shafir, so terrible. Really, really bad what they're doing. They've got this titless girl out there, and she's carrying around this briefcase, okay? How many people, as soon as you see her coming out, you're going to someone's taking a nut shot, okay? This is the only way you're going to see her doing anything with nuts. She's a lesbo. They probably give her waxing at the last minute. They're like, look, you got to look somewhat like a woman, okay? We don't want you looking like China pre-surgery, okay? That was disgusting. She was a pig back then. So sad, so very sad. Joni Lara, and then they had her doing BattleBots because nobody wanted to watch her anymore, okay? 3 facelifts and 2 tit jobs. Nobody wanted to see her. That's why they had her doing BattleBots. Remember the BattleBots? They had her doing the BattleBots, and they had the guy from Red Dwarf, and they had Mick Foley. He looks like your uncle that has to stay 500 feet away from the children. That's why they called him Dude Love. A dude loved the little kids. That's what he looked like. And we've got these shows right now. They've got no ending in sight. They've got this broad from New Jersey. She doesn't want to win a match. And, she needs a girdle. They go, don't fat shame, okay? She looks like she either needs a girdle or Gas X, okay? She either needs to lose 20 pounds or let the fart out because something's going on there, okay? It looks like they put Frosty the Snow Woman out there, and they tell me she's married to Mid Cardona. Okay, the guy doesn't win any matches. I heard she's married to Mid Cardona. She doesn't win any matches. She does. Oh no, not Mid Cardona. The other New Jersey loser. She's Macklin. That's the one. You know, Dope Macklin. That's the one. They're losers from the Northeast. Okay, that's why I got out of the Northeast, because it's a bunch of mid card losers like Steve Macklin. They tell me to thank him for his service. What service? Everything he does, he loses. He probably served in Afghanistan, and that's why we lost. Okay, so very sad. Okay, if we would have had real winners like Swerve Strickland, because Swerve Strickland actually won wars. All right, they put Swerve Strickland in, and we won wars. We went 20 miles. We went 20 miles in Afghanistan. They pushed all the way to Pakistan, and we said, put Swerve Strickland in there. And we're gonna take Kajaki. And you know what? Swerve Strickland was busy wrestling. We wanted to put him in SEAL Team 6. We didn't have enough time for Swerve Strickland in SEAL Team 6. We would have won the whole war. It would have been winning like you've never seen before. Okay, it would have been a house party like you've never seen before. Okay, we said, you know what? We called the terrorists and we sent them a picture of Swerve Strickland, and then we sent in and we started doing the dance. And we did the dance, and I can do the dance too. Excuse me. Get rid of Koki Khan. Okay, I'm doing the dance. Okay, you know, I'm doing the dance. Okay, that's what we do, and that's what I do with Melania every Friday night. Go. You don't give me the bell. I give you the bell. Okay,
All right, time for the Vegas Bad Boys social media dump of this week. Let's see a little Tori Wilson here.
Oh.
She's looking amazing, isn't she? Speaking of looking amazing, how about Mandy? Man.
Oh, Jesus.
Man, right?
She's from my hometown. She's from Yorktown Heights, New York.
Oh, my God. I'm telling you. Well, hey, everybody. Steve, British Steve Stone Cold be like, I beg your pardon. Thought that was a pretty useful meme. Hey, look at this. Brother. That's right. The new buddy comedy with Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay.
Why does he look like Doc Brown now?
Speaking of Kenny Omega, I don't like this version of Kenny Omega. He has way less guts.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus Christ.
That opening segment was fucking great, though.
Intestines, you know?
That opening segment was fucking great.
Dominic, man, this guy is killing it. In the past year, he's had his wife, his girlfriend, and his side chick. Good for you, Dom. Good for you. Mike Santana tweeted out, true story. When I got my release, someone told me, say goodbye to Wrestling Impact Arenas. I legit laughed it off and said, watch me. Joke's on you, Poppy. And he tweeted out a picture of him at the Full House at the TNA pay-per-view. So good for him. Even Daddy Blanchard believes that Tessa sucks. Hey, Paige, aka Soraya, is now single again after splitting with her boyfriend via TMZ. So
she's going to be split, believe me.
Mark Henry, this meme, TikTok announcing its retirement, just like Mark Henry, who announced his retirement and then 3 seconds later turned on John Cena. Drew McIntyre tweeted out, someone from WrestleMania.com tweeted out, TikTok ban lasted this long with a picture of Drew at WrestleMania. And Drew tweeted back, you'd last even less in bed with a girl if you had ever been with one, you raging virgin.
Oh, good. That's a good one.
And a little more serious note here. There is a GoFundMe up for Allie Catch to help her through her brutal injury. This was put up right after it happened last week. Hey guys, it's Steph Delander on behalf of Allie Catch tonight at GCW at the Hammerstein Ballroom Show in New York. Unfortunately, Allie suffered a serious injury, breaking 2 bones in her leg, currently waiting to find out whether she needs surgery or not. But regardless, she's looking at a solid medical and bill and significant time out of the ring. Therefore, loss of income. Being independent is hard, and getting injured while being independent is a literal nightmare. So let's rally around one of our own and take care of Allie. Updates soon to come. And one update was Allie has undergone successful surgery and will be discharged this morning. So that was a few days ago. So that's wonderful to hear. Allie Catch is someone who is huge on the independent scene. This picture came out, Brody Lee Jr. with Tyson Kidd. Holy crap. Brody Lee Jr. is now turning quickly into Brody Lee Sr. Wow, he's getting big. And
check out that shirt.
Yep, wearing a We Love Chris Bay shirt. So, representing, which is amazing. Hey, WWE headquarters, which was Titan Towers, since the mid '80s, has finally been sold. Complex. Yeah, and I believe it's going to be an apartment housing or something like that is what they're looking at doing with it. Hey, from Frankie Kazarian official, there's no way to articulate what Christopher Daniels means to me as an opponent, a tag team partner, most importantly, best friend and brother. His contributions to our sport will never be realized. I love you, CD. Bad Influence, The Addiction, or SCU. I loved every single moment. And Chris's match with Hangman was brutal and really pointless.
But that was a great segment, though. That was a great segment afterwards.
But obviously you have to think that CD wanted Hangman to be his last opponent, and that's how he wanted to go out. So.
Right. He's absolutely trying to do something for Hangman, which is very admirable. Absolutely. So that's great. Hangman already burned down someone's house and also went through the same bloody battle. So I don't know if the repetitiveness of everything. Now, if Daniel's house burns down, maybe we're just kind of retelling stories. But on that note, too, RIP to Jeff Torborg, the father of the demon Dale Torborg. Here's Jeff in his catching days in Los Angeles with the Dodgers. Torborg was one of just 18 catchers in Major League Baseball history to catch at least 3 no-hitters. His first Koufax's perfect game, during which the lefty struck out 14 Chicago Cubs batters, is among the greatest pitching performances ever. It was only Torborg's second season in the big leagues. He called every pitch of the game. In 1970, Torborg caught his second no-hitter, this one thrown by the Dodgers righty Bill Singer. Torborg joined the California Angels the following year, and in 1973, his final season as a player, he caught the first of Nolan Ryan's 7 career no-hitters. So he also was a manager of the Chicago White Sox in 1990.
Table caught a lot more no-hitters than that. Perfect games.
Yeah. Okay. All right. A little sad. A little sad there.
Yeah.
And today, a big remembrance to Kobe Bryant, who passed away 5 years ago today. Wow. And a day that has remained one of the sadder days in the history of the NBA.
That whole year, can we just mulligan that year?
2020?
Yeah, let's just mulligan that one.
If we can mulligan it like we can mulligan your comedy career, it'd be great.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
Brutal.
All right, Rob, final thoughts. You got some.
Get him out of it. Get him out of here. Final thoughts tomorrow, and I forgot about it because you were making fun of the most successful Trump guy that's ever lived. Tomorrow I will be. Oh God, I did not name this program. It's called The Amazing Clowns. And it is going to be at 3525 East Flamingo. 3525 East Flamingo. The doors will open at 7 p.m.
Okay.
And that is hosted by Skippy Sprinkles.
Of course it is.
Skippy Sprinkles promotion. And that is, when you meet the guy, that is his real birth name. First name Skippy. It's on his driver's license. Last name Sprinkles. That is his legal name. One of the funniest comedians, a sweetheart of a guy. And another one of these scenarios by which it's a friend of a friend who has access to any wrestler imaginable. A lot of them through the nerd. If you ever get a chance to go to Vegas and you want to see some of the coolest wrestling paraphernalia, especially Penta, El Cerro Miedo, Pentagon Jr.'s ring attire, they have it on display there. So if you want to get an idea of how cool we
needs that back, because I mean his appearance on Raw the other day with the full blur out because he's got no clothes. I mean, I just wish they'd give it back to him.
But yeah, no, that was but it was one of his many costumes, and it's really cool. That place is great. If you want to see some great matches, I think GCW performs there sometimes too.
Well, stop by and say that the Vegas Bad Boys say hi to Johnny, the owner, and this coming year, I won't say that there might not be some talks going on for a little something going on at the Nerd Bar with us. So,
yep, and when you get a chance over there, you can ride the big mechanical penis bull. They still have that.
You absolutely can.
And they molded it after yours truly.
And you could also check out the Micro Midget Wrestling, which about once a month ends up doing a show there. I think it's 2 shows in a night, late night. The
state of California says you have to call it Micro Little People Wrestling.
Yeah, well, that's what they call it. So, yeah, what am I going to do? All right, Steve, what do you got to say?
All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Chat was pretty active, so thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, all of your comments, everything in there. We appreciate each and every one of you. Also, very special thank you to all the brave men and women serving this country. Whether you're doing it on lands foreign or domestic, thank you for doing what you do so that we can do what we love to do. As John Cena says right there on the graphic on the screen, thank you for your service. And last but not least, repsports.com, reppsports.com. Go there for all your pre-workout, weight loss, and general energy needs. Use promo code Vegas at checkout and save yourself 15%.
Well, there you go, everybody. One more week in the books of pro wrestling. This week, when we tune in for the next show on Sunday, we'll have seen a Royal Rumble. So, that should be, again, fairly interesting to see what they do with the Rumble. And
I'm going to be the 32nd applicant, and I'm going to win the whole thing, okay? And then we're going to call it the Great American Bash.
Well, there you go. The president apparently will be in the Rumble at number 32. So, until next week, everyone.
With that, everybody, thank you for hanging out. We'll do it all again next week. Till then, happy wrestling.
Badboyz tearing up the scene, got the city buzzing like a well-oiled machine. Tune into the saga, nothing's ever routine. Bringing truth and hype like you've never seen. Legends they become, powerful voices hear the heartbeat drum. They take the desert heat and turn it into fun in the land of cards where the deals are won.